for generating leads and find the
100%.
most efficient way for doing that that would be more successful than your competition.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to make your first million? And today we have Andrei Kunov with us. He's the founder of Silicon Valley Innovation Center and Briolink AI. So, Andrew, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Well, Harry, thank you very much for having me on your show. I really appreciate that. The question that you posed is very interesting. How do you make the first million, right? I mean, sometimes it's very intimidating question because especially for young founders, it's a big question. How do you make money with your business? We all want to have companies, to have passive income if it's possible, become successful at some point. But the first million is the most difficult one, right? The second and the third one are not so difficult, but the first one is the most, in my opinion, is the most difficult always. So just to answer your question, I think, first of all, what you need to have as an entrepreneur, in my opinion, is that you really, really need to like what you're doing. Sometimes people say that you need to have a passion. Well, I don't know if it has to be a passion, but you really need to like it. And the reason for that is very simple. It takes usually much longer to become successful than you would usually endure if you motivated yourself simply with the money. It helps a lot when you actually would still be doing this, even if you're not making any money for quite a while. Sometimes it takes a few years before you understand what the heck you're actually doing with your business. And for that purpose, it's important that you would care about this, what you're doing as a business, even if you were not paid for that. So I would say that passion for what you're doing is probably the first precondition. You just need to like what you're doing. And I'm sure that you, Harry, like doing what you're doing with this podcast.
Absolutely.
Right?
I'm loving it. I'm meeting amazing people like you. One not to
Exactly.
like.
You're not doing it simply for the purpose of making money, right? If it was just for money, I'm sure you could find another decent job.
Absolutely. It's a lot of work.
And I can imagine how a lot of work it is to make your podcast successful. So I totally relate to that. And I can see that you like talking with people. So when you can combine your passion and a business model that helps you grow your business, that's where I think would be the first important condition for the success. The second one, you asked me, what are the 5 kind of secrets of success, right? I would say that every time when you build a new business, you need to have a small product or small service monopoly of what you're doing. Meaning that, for example, you, Harry, when you have your own podcast, what you have is very unique compared to any other podcaster, right? You have your own style, you have your own focus, the way how you interview people. There must be a lot of followers in your podcast who like your style, who like the way how you interview people. And that's kind of like a unique value proposition, right? So the ideal version of the unique value proposition is when you are doing something that nobody else is doing the way you are doing it, right? And that's what I call small product monopoly, meaning that it's not a big business, but what you are doing is absolutely unique. Educational program is great, but can you actually invite, or can you organize a program for us that would have companies instead of professors? Is it possible that you could organize something in Silicon Valley as opposed to just at Stanford? And I looked around at that point. I very vividly remember that situation when I was looking around in Silicon Valley and looking for a company which would actually provide this service, organizing educational programs by using technology company expertise instead of professor expertise. And I couldn't find anybody. I was very much surprised that there was nobody in Silicon Valley who would ask technology companies and startups come and present to executives. So I decided to take that risk, Harry, and start this company.
Wow, sounds amazing.
I named it. Yeah, it was interesting. I named it Silicon Valley Innovation Center because I was not sure.
I love the name. I love the name.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was a good choice, I would say. So what happened was that when everybody was, looking for gold, so to say, in Silicon Valley, meaning creating new products, I started selling shovels, so to say, like offering services in executive education. But nobody else at that time was doing this kind of business. I was the only company in Silicon Valley who was putting together executives and startups in the format of educational programs. So
I bet that now there are lots of companies that follow your lead, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. So what happened was that I stumbled upon this small monopoly because nobody else wanted to do this business. And it was a monopoly not because nobody else could do it, but it's because it's extremely difficult to organize these programs.
Wow, tell me about it. I organize events all over the world. So
that's right. There you go. You know how difficult it is.
Absolutely.
But it's even more difficult when you actually want to invite startups and technology companies to become hosts and speakers at the events that you're putting together. And many of them would always ask a question: why would I need to participate in your program? And I was able to figure out that, I would say, product market fit. And that's my third advice. Always think about that. What is your specific product market fit? In my case, it turned out that I was able to convince all of those tech startups participate in our programs because I offered them not just an opportunity to speak, not just a meeting opportunity, but actually many of my clients became the clients of those companies.
Wow.
These were senior executive groups. These were board directors of large established companies from all over the world who wanted to come to Silicon Valley and experience new technologies or experience entrepreneurship and innovation firsthand, from the horse's mouth, as they sometimes call it, from the source, right? So this is the way how I presented these opportunities to those hosting companies. And I told them that I could be one of their distribution channels, essentially. If you give us an opportunity to bring our clients to your office or have some kind of a workshop with them, there's a good chance that they can actually take a keen interest in
so
what
would
you're
be
doing.
The step 4 then?
I'm sorry?
What would be the step 4 then? This one?
Good. Sorry, I was talking too much. Step 3. Yeah, I would say it's also important not only have product market fit, Harry, but also founder market fit. Nobody
I love
talks
this
about
concept.
that.
I love this concept.
Yeah, founder market fit means that you as an entrepreneur need to have the right set of skills to actually approach that particular market. You need to know how to work with that market, how to be persuasive when you need to do sales, right? Because as a founder, you need to know how to do pretty much everything. You need to sell, you need to design, you need to run operations, you need to know how to do customer development, all of that, customer service as well. So if you have the right number of skills that would be a good fit for your market, that even sometimes when your product doesn't work, but you can still satisfy your customers, especially in the B2B context. I think this founder market fit is absolutely important. You might have a great idea for your market. You might even have a good product for it. But if you don't really care about that market, or if you don't have the right set of skills, it's not very likely that you will stick around for a long time.
Absolutely. You have to be market. And the final one?
And the final one, I would say, is absolutely important. And I would call it inbound. You have to learn how to do inbound marketing, meaning that you have to learn how to become a magnet for the most interesting clients or customers of yourself. And again, I'm talking about the B2B type of business, right? Inbound marketing is when your most lucrative clients would know how to find you, instead of you going and knocking the doors of your potential clients, because you don't know which one of them has the money at this exact moment when you are coming to them, has the motivation and has time to use your services. So if you randomly start approaching all of your clients, those who you think are your clients, and each of them will either have no money or motivation or time, you're just wasting your time, just wasting your life on trying to attract new customers or new clients. Instead, what you need to have is to develop a system that will, a marketing system that will attract those who are looking for your services. If you spread all of your target market in terms of how hot it is, in terms of like wanting to use your services. So on the one scale, on the one side, you would have absolutely cold clients, those who either have no money or time or desire to use your services. And on the other side, you would have absolutely those companies that have all of that, and they're just looking for you, and they don't know where you are or who you are, right? With your small business, you need to be able to put yourself in their radar screen.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to find the right people. But then I found some magic keywords for our business. And those keywords, in my case, were visit Silicon Valley. Nobody else was paying for those keywords, because, who cares about who comes to Silicon Valley in terms of business, and I was the only one who was able to monetize those keywords much better because I was selling programs, and everybody else would nobody else would be using those keywords for advertising. So those keywords very, very cheap to pay for. But in my case, I was able to lead generation. Exactly. You need to have a very robust system for generating leads and find 100%. The most efficient way for doing that would be more successful than your competition. Because if your competitors are buying the same keywords and generating the same leads at the same cost as you do, it's a big question who is going to get most of the business in your market, right? You need to create your own unique system of generating leads for yourself by inventing what works best for your particular business. And what I've learned, Harry, is that there is no generic marketing in the world. Marketing and even sales are always unique and specific to your particular business.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.